Welcome to Loremen, a podcast about local legends and obscure curiosities from days of yore. I'm Alasdair Beckett-King.
And I'm James Shakeshaft.
And this episode follows neatly on from our Sea Beasts of Shetland episode.
Oh yes, Series 3, Episode 48.
Yes, it was. But this one is significantly improved, in my opinion, thanks to the presence of an actual Shetlander.
Yep.
Shetlandish person. Should have checked what the actual word was. It's Marjolein Robertson with a proper Shetland accent, like what we can't do.
And all the Shetland words.
And so many Shetland words. This episode is... Ooh, it's rich. Ooh, it's like a cake that you wouldn't have a second slice of at your gran's.
It's delicious, Gran, but oh, it's rich.
Hello, James.
Hi, Alasdair. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you for asking, actually.
Yeah, actually, thanks for replying.
How are the listeners? We never hear how they are at this point.
Oh, we've heard a bit more from them than normal recently.
In the last episode, we apologized to Americans for making fun of America. And since then, we've had many messages from Americans who demand that we make fun of America even more than we normally do.
What do they want from us?
What do you want, America? To be mocked? A moderate amount or a large amount?
Also saying that we apologized to Americans last episode is perhaps a little strong.
Yeah, we were quite sarcastic, I think.
I compared them to dogs and velociraptors.
The only other place that we've done the accents of that badly is Shetland.
Yes, unfortunately, those chickens aren't going to come home to roost anytime soon.
Well, you say that, James, but I have a chicken for you with a homebound ticket to the roost. The chicken in question is a deputy Loreperson guest. It's Marjolein Robertson, who is from Shetland.
What?
Yeah. Hello, Marjolein.
Oh.
Hi. How are you guys? Or should I say, hoo-de-doo-de-doo?
Which is Shetland dialect, as far as I know, for how are you doing? How do you do? How do?
Do you ken what it actually is?
What is it actually?
Foos do.
Foos do?
Foos do. And what's the answer to foos do?
Our will.
And that is good? It's good to be well?
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
So, Marjolein, you are a comedian and storyteller and improviser, but also you have been cursed with being born in the most far-flung point in the British Isles. Trapped there.
I love it here.
I'm so sorry.
And I'm not paid to say this.
Do you work for the Shetland Tourist Board?
I want to say no, but I'm actually getting paid by them for a project right now.
So you actually do work for the Shetland Tourist Board?
Right now, yeah, I actually do. But no, I absolutely love Shetland. I always have. I'm kind of biased.
We have touched upon Shetland in our English ignorance previously.
Yes.
In an episode in which we did, I think, some of the worst Scottish accents we have ever done on the podcast. And that is a...
Speak for yourself.
Sorry, no, James, you did as good a Scottish accent as you've ever done on the podcast in that episode.
I did some of my best Scottish accent.
But I would appreciate it if you could give us a picture, a history of Shetland, because I tried to capture what an unusual place it is. Shetland is different, right?
Yeah, so we've got a bit of our own history. Actually, you covered that really well, and then you ruined it by everything else you said after. No, I'm joking. I think your words were that we talk... Was it? I can't remember how you described the accent.
Oh, I probably...
Was it crazy?
I might have said...
I think between us, we both called it crazy and the maddest Scottish accent.
No, I don't think. I know.
No, I re-listened to it today and we definitely...
But it's not a normal Scottish accent.
No, so our history is kind of a mishmash because we were Shetland and Orkney too. Can't forget Orkney, though we try. We were originally Pictish in part of the UK, whatever it was back those days. And then about 700 AD, the Vikings started rolling in, the Norsemen, and we became Norse. So we were Norse for about 600 years. And in 1469, Shetland and Orkney were pledged as a dowry in lieu of money, temporarily, to Scotland for the marriage of Margaret, the Princess of Norway, to James III of Scotland.
So, just to get this clear, Shetland was a massive IOU.
Pretty much, but my massive Orkney was a massive IOU, and Shetland was like only worth 8,000 florins.
It was the change down the back of the sofa kind of thing.
Of all the ways to become Scottish, that is incredible.
They tried it with just Orkney, and Scotland was like, that's not enough. We want the value of 50,000 florins or something, and Orkney only came to like 42,000, so they threw in Shetland.
That's a deal sweetener.
Yeah, Shetland for cash. You don't need to put it through the book, Scotland. Click, click, click.
But yeah, that was us, and then we became Scottish. For the first 150 years or so, we were unchanged, so we spoke Northern. There's a mixture by this point of Christianity, Norse gods, and some earlier gods you've spoken about.
Is that the Blue Man Group?
Yes.
It is, I think, James, your friend and mine, the Sea Mother.
Ah, the Sea Mother.
The Sea Mother, or as we prefer to pronounce it in the voice of a Brooklyn gangster, the Sea Mother.
Sea Mother.
You come to me on the day of my own mother's birthday. I don't know.
She's cooking the pasta. Briny. I can't do it.
That's all right. Not being able to do the accent is normal on this podcast.
Yeah, don't let that stop you.
But yeah, so we say that, yes, the Sea Mother. So that's our oldest deity. She's the mother of the sea. She protects fishermen and sailors, but she's also the embodiment of fertility and warmth and life. So she rules over Orkney and Shetland for the Vår, the spring, through the summer.
Was this kind of a job share thing?
I mean, I would like to say yes, but what happens is the spirit of winter, Taran, comes up and he fights her and he beats her.
Oh.
Oh, no. Every year?
Every year. In September, that's why we get such bad gales in September. It's called the Gore Valley, which means like the autumn tumult.
So that's actually them leathering each other, just properly fighting.
Yeah, so the waves are them lashing at each other and the winds are them howling and screeching at one another.
It is awkward when you overhear someone arguing.
Is that the time in Shetland where you sort of just really get into like video games and
Yeah.
sort of humming to yourself?
Stop it, Midder!
Pop on some headphones and just wait for spring, I think.
Taran wins.
And then he turns his fist to Shetland Orkney and brings death and darkness.
This is darkness and death by Scottish Island standards, so that's going to be pretty dreich.
Yeah, no, Taran reigns over winter, and then come the Vår, Sea Mother's recovered.
Yeah.
She spent all winter making big ropes, and she rushes up in March, and they fight again, the Vår Tully, the spring struggle, and Sea Mother beats Taran.
Yes.
Good on her. How far is the ferry, out of interest?
You have to go to Aberdeen, and then it's about 12 to 14 hours.
Jesus.
I know, Aberdeen. Jesus.
I tried to stress when we covered this before, this is not near Scotland.
No.
Wait,
You are far away.
no one commutes, right? Everyone works on Shetland.
Yeah, unless you work on an oil rig, and then you're just... But yeah, and you don't really commute. That's why it's hard when I'm doing comedy. I just have to like come up and do for like months at a time.
It'd be like getting the megabus, but to every single gig.
Except it's got a bar on it. And there's less spewing than a megabus.
You're like a reverse rigger then, in that you come to the mainland to do the very dangerous job of stand-up comedy for a few months at a time, and then you've turned back with the things I've seen.
And with less money, opposite rigger.
Oh, yeah.
It really is the
Yeah.
opposite. Yeah.
Riggers are very well remunerated.
But there'll be absolutely no watching of VHS movies for them.
No chance.
They can do whatever they want, but the one thing they cannot do is watch The Lion King.
Legally.
Whoa, are you suggesting that they would just watch them anyway? James, it says it at the
As if
start.
the Federation Against Copyright Theft, FACT, is going to make it out to a rig without someone noticing.
They've probably got a helicopter, James. Getting the megaphone out. Oil riggers, you wouldn't steal a car, would you?
Over.
Hey, we would steal a car if we got the opportunity. Well, we rather thought you'd say no.
Because you wouldn't have anywhere to drive it. It would fall off your rig.
Yeah, that's why they don't leave cars on oil rigs for all the thieving oil riggers.
I feel like we've offended Scottish people and oil riggers now, and I don't know which group I'm more afraid about having crossed. And some of those oil riggers are going to be Scottish. Copyright notice, you can't play this podcast on an oil rig.
Yes, of course.
So we're safe.
Do oil riggers have their own cinema?
Yeah, and they got their popcorn, they get a little bit of oil, a little bit of oil on the popcorn.
And then they have like their own sort of alternative to films that are all made by other oil rigs, Oily Wood or something. They do their version of films.
The worst one ever was that time that they tried to recreate Backdraft. So much death. I just think that they actually have a cinema and they just have a sellotape square to a window and just be like, oh God, it's a perfect storm again.
What's on? The sea. Oh.
Oh, tell me the sea.
Oh, do a link by all means.
Sorry.
Link us back to some folklore.
So, see, the way you'd honour her is when you're off on a boat, you wouldn't use language that was considered taboo.
Oh.
And that would be more modern language or language related to like the Christian gods. That was offensive to the old gods of the sea. So you'd use a different language on the waves, which still some fishermen follow a lot of these words when they're still fishing to this day.
I mean, I don't think I would last 5 minutes from these rules.
Why is that? Because you're so up to the minute with your slang and your hip hop lingo, James.
Yes, I am lit.
Do you want me to say some of the words and you can guess what they mean?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the words. So these are not even some of these are Shetland dialect. Some of these are older than Shetland dialect. So a lot of Shetlanders would struggle with this.
I don't want to sound overconfident, but I think we're going to get all of these right.
So the first word is globberin.
Globberin.
Sounds like clobbering time. A fight. If you have to fight a fish.
Specifically, if you have to fight a fish. I'm going to go with like a kind of boat shoe, like a...
Oh, yeah.
You know
like
what I mean?
galoshes.
I was actually thinking of more plimsolls, but you're right. You'd want something waterproof.
The globberin is the moon.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say the
moon?
moon.
No, you weren't. You were going to say galoshes. and then you did.
Okay, second word is Pobby Runtley.
Ah, Pobby Runtley.
Is that a single word?
It's got a hyphen between the Pobby and the Runtley, but I'll give you a clue. What it's talking about is just a single word. Pobby Runtley.
Pobby Runtley.
That is a small fish with big lips.
I have to stop laughing as soon as you guys guess. This is really bad.
Okay.
To give you a clue as well, lots of these words are related to land things.
All right.
A lot of these words are like the land you don't bring out to the sea. So like, example I won't ask you is like the beniman. Beniman is a minister, which is, oh, no, bad, don't take Christ on a boat. So
Christ on a boat. Right. Well, no, you shouldn't. He'd just wander off, wouldn't he? Knowing him.
That sounds Welsh, this one. I'm going to go with something to do with a village or a building.
Because probably come.
Yeah.
Now then, I spoke to my mother-in-law because on our last episode, I mentioned a couple of her family's mad recipes that they had. One was dippo, which was kind of like a deconstructed mashed potatoes that you made yourself. But the other one that they told me about was pobs. It's served in a traditional shallow dish. It's just chunks of bread with scalded milk poured over.
What?
That's it.
These all sound like pranks.
Pobs.
They sound like things a bully would do to you, not a food.
It sounds like your mum promised you cereal, but only had bread.
Yeah, but wanted you to have toast.
It's like a sad version of Cheerios.
Sadios.
Sad.
Yeah.
So is that your guess, James, for what this word means?
Yeah, I think it's a amuse-bouche of torn up pieces of bread covered in scalded milk.
It's not that, but yeah, that's our guess.
James.
Yeah?
It's a pig.
So close.
Yeah. You could pour scalding milk on a pig, couldn't you?
Pigs are so unlucky at sea that one of the worst things you can talk about at sea is a pig. Oh, do you want the last word?
Give us the last word.
Yeah.
The last word is tree.
Okay. Oh, all right. Having a little fun with the English. Laying a little trap.
Okay.
Luring us into a trap.
I think I know what it is.
What is it, James?
I think it's your friend of mine, friend of the show, Jesus and his dad and his ghost.
The Holy Trinity.
It's the Holy Trinity.
Oh, that is if that's not true, that's a good guess.
It's going to be a bloody tree, isn't it? It's going to be an actual tree.
I can give you a clue. Here's a big clue.
You're getting all the clues.
What's the clue? I'll have the clue, thank you.
The clue is that I said last time it was land-based. This time it isn't land-based.
Okay, a cloud.
That's the least land-based thing I could think of.
It never comes down.
Because it's water and it's in the sky.
These are all lovely guesses, but it's the mast.
You can't mention the mast of the ship. So what if it gets struck by lightning? You'd have to be like, the pointing. It's very hard for me to explain. but it's gone.
But yeah, those are some words for you.
That's amazing.
And do you have to talk like this on the ferry?
No, and nowadays, like a lot of folk just use modern words, but there are the words I know some folk will never use is minister or church. It's beniman and the bennyhoose. That weirdly, like a lot of fishermen I ken will still not say that.
They won't say Bennyman, they won't say Bennyhoose, they won't say Benny Hill, they won't say any of the godliest words.
Is God Benny then?
Maybe. Actually, I couldn't find a word for God.
This is the most evil island. It's the most diabolical island. You can't even mention church.
When there's old stories of men saying they're going up to work in Shetland, these are quite old stories, and folk down in Scotland were like, "Don't go up there, they're isles full of witches."
Marjolein, I think you told me you have a poem. Now, I can see James's face creasing with agony.
This poem is really cool, though. It's by a poet called Vagaland, and he wrote in Shetland dialect, and he also wrote in English. But this poem's in dialect, and it's really broad. So I could read it to you through and explain it, or you could just interrupt me and be like, "What's happening?"
I think you should read it through in dialect.
And then we'll tell you what happened.
And then we'll explain. And I think we'll get it. I think it should be fine. As long as it is mainly about the masts of ships and the church. We should be fine.
So this poem is called Fae the Ground. Does that make sense?
From the ground?
Yeah, perfect. We're going to be fine.
Yeah, easily.
As I come by the trolley girts and stop it at the Melbourne Brew, I met a pretty Osmill wife, and she was gathering lucky zoo. "God, wife, you're trang," I said to her. She held up some for me to see. "I'll caird it on my cairds of green, and spin and mak a sark for thee. And when they slips the mod I hide, they'll see what none has seen for lang. They'll ken the nuggle by the burn, to listen to the filgies sang. The doors and green nows opening will look thee in among was and there where time gangs dancing by, they'll never want to win awa. Nae need to speak of that today, the sark is neither made or scoured. Wi' that, I spanged across the burn, and left her as she stood and glured. I goed a stramp or twa power, and turned to fin mysel alane, and Nathan be the burn of with a grey crooked standing stain.
Okay,
I think I've got it.
You got it? Yeah, right. So there was a guy and a lady of some kind.
Guessing it was near a supermarket because there was the trolley guts, which is where you put the trolley back. That's the trolley guts.
You've actually got a pen and paper out, James.
Oh, yeah. They went to the Lucky Zoo.
Before that, she gave him something that he put on that gave him the ability to see things that you couldn't normally see.
Well done.
3D glasses.
3D glasses, I assume, like you use on the oil rig. Is any of this correct? Did she give him something that he wore?
Yeah, so she was going to give him something to put on so he could see things he couldn't normally see. It's called a sark.
Like a vest? No, a shirt?
Kind of, yeah, shirt, yeah.
What's a noogle?
A nuggle is the Shetland version of a kelpie, so a water horse that you think is a horse, but you ride it and then it tries to drown you. They'll ken the nuggle by the burn, so you'll know the nuggle, you'll see it by the stream when you put the sark on.
And the only other thing I got, I think, is he turned back possibly to see the woman from the start, and she was a grey standing stone.
Yes.
I had that he stared at Nathan Berdelar, who I guess is a famous person in Shetland.
Nathan. Oh, yeah, I mind him. Do you want me to tell you what it was?
Yes,
please.
So basically, the story starts as I come by the trolley bait. No, he says as I come by the trolley guts. He's just walking the location by the brew. He saw a pretty Osmill wife. Now, Osmill is the word for ugly. Osmill. Oh, I don't look at her. But it's because she's not human. She is a trow.
A trow?
Do you know what a trow is?
We did sea trows in the previous one, meaning troll.
Trow is like our version of a troll. But if you think of like in Shetland, we have Shetland ponies that are just like horses but tiny, and our sheepdogs are like dogs but tiny. Trolls are like 3 foot in height, and they're very like our fae being. They're like grey skinned, and they only come out at night.
So she was a troll the whole time. She was a trow.
Yeah, she's a trout, and she's gathering Lucky's oo. And Lucky is often a name we give a witch. And Lucky's oo is bog cotton. Oo means wool, sorry. It can also be translated to Loki's oo, because Loki, the god of mischief.
Oh, yeah.
So you think it looks like wool, but it's just bog cotton, so it's like tricks.
What is bog cotton?
It's like cotton that grows up in Scottish marshes. You kind of pretty white tufts. And you can use it to stuff teddies or pillows or actually card it and turn it into actual cotton to make clothes with. Would you not get bog cotton doing sooth?
Is that stuff that's a bit like dandelion clock? That there's like one weekend when it just goes everywhere and
exactly
like
that.
Thick tufts.
It's exactly that.
Yeah, we do get that actually. We do get that actually. You won't get it in your London, Alasdair.
No, we do have those little weird canisters that you find on the street from tiny little paintball games.
Trowy paintball games.
Little trail paintball.
You hear them like...
They love it. They absolutely love it.
So basically, and the man says to the woman, you're busy. Trang means busy. And she says, she holds up the bag of bog cotton, and she says, I'm going to card this on my cards green, which means I'm going to brush it out. But cards green is, in Shetland, you believe that ferns are fairies' brushes for wool, or Trows brushes for wool. And she says she'll make a shirt for you with it. And when you slip them over your head, you'll see what no one's seen for a long time. And then she goes on to list all the magical creatures that are in that one area that she can see, but he can't.
What were they?
So the Nuggle, the Filgi, and the Filgi is like the thing is you can never see it, but you hear it, and it sings to you the song of your death.
Is that like the opposite of the song that was number one when you were born?
And it says the next thing she says is the doors in green now is opening and you'll see inside, and basically that means a Trowie home. So the Trows live under the hills, and often if there's an unusually large stone or a pretty now, is now an English word? Like
a knoll. Knoll, because some of your double L's seem to be W's.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Because like a troll is a trow, a trow is a troll, so maybe a now is a knoll.
That's interesting.
That makes so much sense. So you'll see into the hills and you'll be able to see the Trows there. But she says, no need to speak of this today, for the shirt is neither made or cleaned. So I think it's like a poem about death. Like I think it's like crossing into the next realm, like when your eyes open up, or taking acid.
In the form of a shirt, like a shroud.
Oh my God, it's like a shroud. But yeah, and then he jumps across the burn, and he walks a bit and he looks back at her, and she's gone, just a stone in her place.
And then, how does Nathan fit into all this?
It's Nathan all along. The witch is Nathan.
What a twist!
But yeah, that's a pity. Why did you think of that poem, James?
Yes, that was actually a very enjoyable poem.
Oh, high praise. Not because you're a great poet, James, but because you hate poems. The opposite.
I do, but I think because I didn't know what it was saying or trying to say, I didn't get annoyed that it was saying it in an annoying way, like I do with normal poems. Okay. So a lot of big talk. A lot of big talk for a small island.
James, you sound like you are segueing into the scores. Is that what's happening?
I'm ready
here?
To score, yeah. I've got my florins.
Okay.
I've got 20 florins.
Are you trying to buy Shetland?
And I want to buy 1 or 2 Shetlands.
Maybe you can get the Fair Isle. I don't know. First category, then, I think, if I may speak on behalf of myself and the entirety of Shetland and Marjolein, first category is names, James.
Naming.
Now tell me this didn't have some good names.
Great names.
What was the name of the poet?
Vagaland.
Oh,
is that a man? Is that a mountain? Is it just a cloak that talks? I don't know.
Is it a 90s DC superhero? Tree. Oh, the Benny Man.
The
Benny Man in his Benny house.
The Benny Man in his Benny house.
And the Nuggle.
And the Nuggle. That makes Kelpie look like absolute...
Your friend of mine, Nathan.
Nathan, yes.
Yeah, I would say this had the most names. No names for God, mind.
He's not real here.
We're not, don't listen to this podcast on a boat if you're a fisherman. We should have put this warning at the beginning.
Because it's copyright.
Yes.
Yolanga Decimada and the Federation Against Copyright Theft. Facts.
It's when people say it's the Feds, it's never those Feds. It's never the Federation again. Knocking down your door. What is this? A mixtape? You're coming with us, sucker.
Well then, it has to be 5 then.
Yes.
It simply must be 5s.
That is a strong start. That is a strong start right out of the gates.
Strong 5s.
Wow. Well, the second category is the supernatural.
Ooh.
Which we'd call in Shetland your normal stuff.
Natural. Yeah, you got Trows, left, right, and centre.
And under.
And under.
A magic shirt.
A magic shirt.
Yeah, that's good.
Pardon?
I said sark. I'm trying to say it in the dialect, but what I'm just doing is just doing an impression of what Marjolein said, which is quite offensive. Do you know when you're learning a language and you don't know if you're learning a language or just doing it like a rude impression of the person who's teaching you? It's difficult.
Well, have you ever been to France and you kind of speak French? But if you speak in like a really bad fake French accent, like hello, suddenly everyone understands you. If you're like, where is the toilet? And like,
That's because they want to humiliate you, and they think once they've got you to do that, they've broken you.
Then and only then will they give you a painting of the fallen Madonna with the big boobies.
Supernatural.
We've got everything. They're coming out of the water now. They're coming from the sky. They are the wind. The wind is God's fighting.
Yeah.
What I haven't heard yet is a ghost, which is usually my sort of...
Obviously, they're clearly full of ghosts, but we just haven't mentioned in this episode.
I have many ghost stories.
Is it thick with ghosts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've got stories with ghosts of folk who've disappeared. In fact, we have a ghost called the Ganfer, and people still see them to this day. And the Ganfers, when you see someone's likeness, because they've just passed on and have come to say goodbye.
Come on, that's worth a point, James.
A Ganfer.
In the Northeast, that would be, what are you going for? What are you going for?
If you're popping to the shops.
Going for Pepsi Max from Biker Grove.
And now I am offended by your accent.
Let's just pop this table on a lazy Susan because it's going to keep turning.
Sorry, I should have done the Biker Grove laugh. I don't think we're going to do any more Biker Grove jokes. At least I can't see anyway to crowbar in another Biker Grove reference. I wanted to tie in the Trows playing paintball, like tiny little Trow.
That is how they do the rigger version of programs, isn't it? In Oilerwood, they enact them with Trows.
That's the oil rig version of Biker Grove, is two little pixies.
Yeah.
There's a little PJ and Duncan.
Which is not that different from real life.
The real PJ and Duncan are not tall.
Yeah, there's these two small, lovable figures, elfin-like cheeks. They entrance the mothers.
And then Jeff would just walk on with a big woolly face. Oh, it's Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Man.
But then he died in the Grove fire.
No.
There was a terrible Grove fire.
I think it exploded, the boiler.
Oh, Biker Grove went on fire one time, yeah. And Jeff was in it. And then PJ and Duncan came back for the funeral.
Really? To sing their new single?
He was like, "You crazy cats! What have you done to Jeff?"
I don't know. They had so many lyrics, they were actually frightened to use them. Supernatural of Shetland. I'm guessing if we were to lose this Zoom call, Marjolein, and we tried to call you back, it would just be like, what? No? You can't speak to Shetland.
Marjolein's been dead for 20 years.
Yeah, I think it sounds like the most spooky place ever. I want to go. And I'm going to give it another 5. It's another strong 5.
2 5s. I think this is unheard of. I don't want to be too overly confident, but I already am. I'm bubbling with confidence. Category the third. The sea, the sea.
Oh, the sea, the sea.
Not only a recurring Loremen catchphrase, but these are not even that big islands, James. It's 90% sea.
It's mostly the sea, the sea.
Yeah. Not just the sea, the sea's mum.
Yes.
Are you calling the sea's mum, James?
Just for context, Marjolein and any listeners, the sea, what was it? It was a thing that people used to shout in the past. It
was one of the pointless catchphrases of history, like quaz or, who are you? It was just something people used to say for no particular reason.
What a shocking bad hat.
And what a shocking bad hat.
Oh, how's your mother's lanyard, was it? Or something like that. Something about a mangle. Where's your mum's mangle? These were like things that people used to say around the 1900s.
I feel like what you guys might have felt like when I sang the poem. Like, I have no clue.
The sea, it's just the old-fashioned version of like, do you remember, what's up? Do you remember how everyone said that for a year and then we all realised this is annoying?
Yeah.
The sea is like that.
And this is, again, it's thick with the sea. There was some land. And the sea mother, as lovely as she is...
Oh, watch it.
She does disappear for half the year. Perhaps she's got a second family.
Orkney.
Or she just goes south for the winter to get a bit of winter sun.
You've really upset Marjolein here, James.
You're not upset me, you just upset the sea. Like, can you hear the storm? Do you want me to open the window and you can hear the storm already brewing?
All right, so you can give it a low score, James, but just be ready to bear the consequences. You won't be able to go near puddles after this.
Yeah, I can't have anything in brine.
Oh, that olive looks nice. Oh, it went for me.
It bit me.
Oh.
I think I dare not again give a 5. This is worrisome. Wow. This is worrying. Yeah.
We've never had a full run of 5s.
I need something that I can give a very low score to for this final category.
Okay. What's the final category then?
The final category is Jan Kuna's Unkenspek.
Jan Kuna's Unkenspek.
I think I'll take this one.
Go for it, James. Do it.
It's a character similar to Nathan. Is young Kuna's Uncle Speck. So it's a guy called Speck and he's got a nephew.
It's that wife's strange speaking. So it's like my dialect.
I was going to guess that Speck meant dialect.
Well, Speck is to speak. So young is that. Kuna's the taboo C word for woman.
Onken.
Onken is strange.
Oh.
And Speck is speaking.
Onken is strange. It's yogurt.
His milk's gone. His milk's gone all thick.
It's very onken.
Do we have to bleep the swear words in Shetland? I don't know. Apple are never going to notice that.
Please don't flag us any Shetlandics.
Wait, I was genuinely talking about dairy products.
Well, James, I don't think it's arguable. Marjolein talks funny.
Yeah. Yep. She talks funny. She's a comedian as well, so she talks funny in that sense.
That is true,
I just go on stage and I tell them what I did for my day and they laugh and there's not even a joke there. It's the watch therapy.
What's 1 to 5 in Shetland?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
Well, you can get focusing in as well, weirdly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I want to give it a 4 because I can't give out a full 5 of 5, 4 5s.
You can't give 4 5s.
4 of 5. It's got to be a 5. It's got to be a 5.
4 5s.
It says 5 4 4 4 5.
Wow. Unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Loremen. If the listeners want to find out more things like your Shetland word of the day and other storytelling comedy stuff, how can they find you?
Yeah, so I do a Shetland word of the day almost twice a week on Twitter. It's at Marjolein R. And then I actually tell Shetland folktales most nights of the week on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch and you look for Marjolein Robertson, if only I had an easy to find name, Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m, telling folktales on Twitch. And I've yet to repeat a Shetland tale. I've been doing it since lockdown began, and I've never repeated a Shetland story other than when it's been requested, and I still have new stories every night.
And Marjolein is spelled Marjolein.
Yeah.
Of course.
And it's not even a Shetland name, you told me.
No, drunk pants. Or as we call them in Shetland, parents.
You've been listening to Loremen with me, Alasdair Beckett-King.
And me, James Shakeshaft.
With Deputy Loreperson, Marjolein Robertson.
An excellent deputy, in my opinion.
She was a fine deputy.
To come on with a poem in this day and age.
To walk in here with a poem, walk out with a 5 out of 5. Incroyable, as the Shetlanders say.
But what a magical and terrifying place it sounds.
If you like magical and terrifying places,
go on.
Join our Patreon.
Oh, yes.
Patreon.com/LoremenPod.
Yeah, and you'll get the bonus episode for this, which I'll tell you now, it may even be longer than the actual episode. I want to talk about the last episode of Biker Grove, but I can't right now. We can't talk about the last episode of Biker Grove right now.
The fourth wall-breaking final episode of Biker Grove is too supernatural.
I can't remember that one, but I must have watched it. Was Ben in it? Sorry, you weren't talking about it.
All it is, I don't think I've actually ever seen it, but I've read about it. And it's basically the final episode of Biker Grove. They basically realise they're in a TV programme, in essence.
And then they start writing their own plots. So there's aliens and I think a dinosaur.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
My dream would be to watch like a Mike Leigh film. Like a properly good social realist film, but last scene, dinosaur attack. Just nobody would be ready for it. Suddenly a velociraptor just right through, takes off the lead's head.
Not even on heroin.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's like, wow, that's put our problems into context.
Oh yeah, by the way, this estate is in the Triassic period.